Assalamu alaikum everyone, and thank you for joining us for the second session of Nahjul Balagha, where we will be looking at Khutbah 91, Creation of Allah, and this time we're going to focus on the part of the khutbah that talks about the sky. So before we get started, a few quick reminders, the same ones we had last session as well. The first one being, please make sure you don't write any personal information in the chat box. Please do not make fun of the responses of others. And please make sure all discussions in the chat relate to our course material that we're covering. So a quick recap from our previous class. Last class, we talked about the spiritual journey that we're going to go on to get closer to Allah and how we're going to go about this journey. We learned a lot about Allah and the different qualities He has as well. We also learned that God is the source of all perfect in this world, and it is sometimes difficult for us to understand and comprehend how amazing He is. So before we get started looking at Khutbah 91, we're going to look at Hadith 13 from Nahjul Balagha. In Hadith 13, it states, when you get only small favors, do not push them away through lack of ungratefulness. So now when we read this hadith, what are some thoughts that come to our mind on what this could mean?
Unmuted.
So what are some things we can learn from this hadith? When it talks about sometimes us getting small favors and how sometimes we are not grateful for them. Very good. Even if you only get a small favor, do not be ungrateful and push them away. Excellent, Sumaya. Very good. Appreciate small things in life. Excellent, Sajida. Anybody else want to share their thoughts? We should be thankful when someone gives us something. It is a gift and we should appreciate it. Excellent, Insia. Be thankful for all the blessings in life. Very good, Sumaya. Be happy with what you have. Very good, Jafar and Fatima. Get a small favor, you should be grateful. Alia, excellent response. When you get the chance, accept it. Very good, Ali Akbar. Be grateful for everything. Excellent job. As Muhammad, so these are very good answers, because sometimes we think that our blessings have to be really big for us to be able to appreciate them, but we need to know that even when we are given a small blessing and a small favor, we should make sure we acknowledge it and we are grateful for it. Be grateful, very good. If you get small favors, you should be thankful because some people won't have it. Very good. It means appreciate everything you have and be very thankful. Excellent, Razia. But if you get something small, don't be mad and say it's only small. Still say thank you. Very good, Alia. Excellent. So those are very good responses that everyone shared. In the first part of the khutbah, in the part that talks about the sky, it states from khutbah 91, He has arranged the lows and heights of the openings of the sky. He has joined the space of its ruptures and has joined them with one another. He has made easy the approach to its heights for those angels who come down with His commands, and those angels who go up with the deeds of the creatures. If we take a look at this part of the khutbah, we can see it's really beautiful, the different things that take place within the sky that we may not realize. We may not realize how much is actually going on in terms of the movements of the angels. And this part of the khutbah does a good job at explaining the beauties that takes place within the skies. So now one of the things that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at different creations of Allah in detail and seeing some of the amazing wonders that are around them, which is going to be very nice to see. He has made the high points and the low points of the sky. He has made it easy for the angels to travel through. He's made the sky very good, Sumaya. Excellent. That is a very good observation from that part of the khutbah. Very good, and that's right. It has made it perfect. So one of the things that we're going to be looking at is looking at the wonderful, is the understanding of looking at God through the argument of design. Seeing how wonderful it is to see the design within the creations around us. So the first premise point that we're going to be looking at is in any situation in which there's a design, there needs to be somebody, needs to be an intelligent and conscious and capable designer who is aware of what is being designed. So in this, we're going to see how all the beautiful creations and design all lead up to Allah. The first example that we're going to be looking at is the example of a clock. If we look at the example of a clock, we'll see that the device has a certain type of design. All parts of the design work together in harmony to accomplish the goal of being able to tell the time. There needs to be a designer that must have been able to design this clock. So if we look at the clock, we know there was a designer that designed it, but for that person to be able to design it, the mind of the designer to be able to function, that came directly from Allah. So even if we take a small creation that we see around us, we can see how that creation always will lead up to Allah. Thank you. Glad you like the example, Ali Raza. That's right, somebody made it, but for them to be able to make it and have that mind to function, to be able to make it, that led directly to Allah. It's a very good observation, amazing example that Allah created the designer of the clock. Very good, that's right, and how it led to it. That's right, Allah helped to make it. That's right, time is made by Allah. So now we're going to be taking a look at another example. We take a look at the example of a peacock, a beautiful peacock that is drawn on a board. If somebody was to ask who drew that and how talented of a drawer that he or she must be, how much knowledge that person must have, we can think about that even that beautiful design leads to Allah. There's a beautiful drawing of a peacock. We know there needs to be an artist that did it. And the ability of that artist to create that beautiful artwork, or in this case of the peacock, that ability would have to come from Allah. Right, Allah created everything. Another example, the last one we're going to look at is, if we look at something simple that some of you may have written, it is an essay, where we have thousands of random letters that are thrown together there and form an essay. The probability of this happening is so slim that no thinking person would accept it. There has to be an author who is able to create this essay and make everything work. So if we think about an essay, we know there needs to be an author that wrote it, and the one that gave the author the ability to write was Allah. So everything is traced to Allah that we need to realize. That's right. Allah has made the creation to do the job that occurs. Very good. That's right. He also made beautiful animals. I see really good points that are coming up. That's right. Allah also guides a person being able to think. Very good. Allah also created food. Very good. That's right. Allah provided with nutrients, blessings to be able to accomplish its task. Very good. That's right. Allah also gave us the free will and ability to do different things that we are able to do. That's right. Everything that happens only happens with Allah's command. Very good. And Allah will be on top of everything. Very good. I like the observations that I'm seeing coming up. So now is a question for all of you. What examples can you think of in your life that required an intelligent, a conscious and capable designer that needed to design it, and how that example can then be led to Allah? Think about an object and the creation of it. How can the creation of that object lead to Allah? Just like in the examples. Can anyone think of an example in their life that would work the same way as the examples that we looked at? So one example is our human body. Do you want to say how it's the human body? That's right, Allah makes the human body work in a certain way, all our organs, all the different systems in their body, how they work in harmony with one another to do the various functions. The solar system, excellent. The animals that we eat, very good. The universe and space, that's right. That's something we're going to be looking at more this session, and also next session is looking at the universe and the harmony within it. That's right. And do you want to add how clothes that we wear can link to it? Even the car, it is under the command of Allah. That's right. The person that created the car wouldn't be able to do it without the help of Allah. Buildings and cars, the pumping heart, that's right. God created the universe and the world, very good. Every single creation, the house, the architect made the design, but Allah helps the person design. Without Allah, the architects could not have designed it. Very good. That's an excellent point, Sumaya. Walking legs, that's right. Breathing lungs, that's very good. The hands, everything. Very good points that I see coming up. That's something that we need to be aware of in our life. Sometimes we see different objects and we think that that object just came from a single person. Sometimes we don't think about how that single object can actually be led to Allah, and that's something that we need to realize in our lives. So that's why what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the other beauties and the creations that Allah has created to help us to be able to appreciate the wonders that we have around us. Seek other good answers. Brain, space. Read gardens by making sun and rain. That's right. School. That's right. Allah is one God. So let us continue. So one important thing to remember is everything in creation will always point towards God. And there's a beautiful hadith of Imam Ali that actually captures this concept. Imam Ali alayhi salam has said, I have not seen anything without seeing Allah with it, and before it, and after it. This is a really beautiful hadith that we can actually implement within our lives. It shows us how Imam Ali was very observant and how in everything he saw around him, he was able to see Allah in it, before it, and after it. So this is a hadith that inshallah we should all try to implement within our life. That's right. It's really amazing how explained that Allah has created. Very good. Good observation, Insia. So now we're going to continue taking a look at some other very interesting details within Khutbah 91 involving the sky. In this part, it states, He made its sun the bright indication for its day, and the moon the gloomy indication for its night. He then put them in motion in their orbits and ordained their pace of movement in the stages of their paths in order to distinguish with their help between night and day, and in order that the reckoning of years and calculations may be known by their fixed movements. We can see some beautiful points being mentioned in this part of the khutbah where it's talking about the orbits as well as the different indication that we have for the day and the night based on the sun as well and the moon for the night. Beautifully explained if we take this part of the khutbah, we try to visualize it within our minds. What are some other points that you get when you read this part of the khutbah?
Unmuted.
So I see some very good points that are coming up. I like this part because it says how the sun and the moon are in order. They aren't messed up. The sun is up in the day and the moon is up in the night. It's always consistent. Very good point, Insia. Excellent. You made the stars. Very good point. That's right. It's also very interesting if we take a look at it. They are consistent. Very good, Habiba. That's right. It's very beautiful. When the Earth orbits the Sun, it's like everyone orbits the Kaaba. Oh, that's a very good observation, Ali Raza. Talks about the time and the months. That's right. How everything is in fixed calculations. Very good point, Salma. Talks about different time zones in relation to the rotation of the Earth. Very good. That's right. Everything works together and never stops. It's always consistent and in orbit. Very good. So wonderful points that people have brought up. That's right. Allah has made the sun and moon. It's such and it's how amazing it is. Very good. So let's continue. So now if we take a look and we try to visualize the beauty that we just saw in this part of the khutbah, we can see how beautiful the sun and the moon actually look. We can take a look, we can notice the colors that are in it, the different textures, the lines. It's amazing how Allah has created them, and the beauty in the design and how they've been made. We can see the different parts, different colors. It is definitely beautiful. We take a look and we reflect on these wonderful things. That's right. It's beautiful. It's mashallah. It's beautiful. Awesome. That's very true. The comments I see coming. So now in the next part of the khutbah, it states, he then hung it in its vastness in sky and put therein its decoration consisting of small bright pearls and lamp-like stars. He shot at the overhears arrows of bright meteors. He put them in motion on their appointed routine and made them into fixed stars, moving stars, descending stars, ascending stars, ominous stars, and lucky stars. This is also really beautiful because it talks about like the night sky, some of the things that you might see in it. It talks about the meteors and the different stars that you can see. So one of the things which you can even do when it comes to reflecting on this is on a night that you see maybe where the weather is good, you stare up at the night sky and see some of the wonders that you can notice of the stars and the meteors around. You can see the beauty and the design they are around. That's right. There's so much power. There's so many different things. That's very good, Sumaya. That's right. It is amazing. These are just a few ways that we can observe in the creation that Imam Ali is telling us in this khutbah. That's right. He's created massive stars too that can create supernovas, which are beautiful. That's right. It is amazing. Just talking about how when it talks about over here is like the arrows, the ones that were up high near the meteors. It's making reference to the meteors in that. So now let's take a look, since right now we are not able to go outside and take a look, because for some of us, it may still be daytime. let's take a look at what these meteors and stars can look like. We take a look at it, it's beautiful what you can see when you look up. You can see the different stars. And on the picture on the right hand side, you can also see an example of like a meteor that is there. The beauties within the different stars, how each one is very unique in its own way, in terms of the brightness, in terms of its size. There is so much beauty in the way Allah has created it. That's right. That's right, it is very gorgeous. It's very beautiful the way they have been created. So now, if we take a look at what we just read from the Khutbah, we can also see that it has also been described within the Holy Quran. So there's two ayats that we're going to look at from the Holy Quran that also make reference to the sky. The first one is in Surah 13, ayat 17, where it states, "Whenever he sends down water from the sky, and once dry, riverbeds are running high according to their measure." This is making reference to the rain that falls from the sky and how it falls. So this is also beautiful how that's being described. And then the next one is if we look at Surah 6, Ayah 99, where it states, "And he it is who has caused water to come down from the sky." So we can see that both of these ayats in the Holy Quran do a wonderful job at describing the rain that also comes from the sky, which is very nice. I see some interesting observations that are coming up. The worst part, there's sometimes light pollution, and now we only see a few stars. That's true. Sometimes depending on where you live, you may not be able to see as many stars in the sky. If you maybe go to like an open space where there aren't too many buildings, not too much pollution, you may be able to see more stars in the sky. That's right, Allah has made the water, that's right. And in this case, Allah has also made the rain that comes from the sky as well. Now what we're going to actually do is we're going to look at how the sky has been described in Hadith and Mufassal. Now before I tell you a little bit about Hadith and Mufassal, has anybody ever heard of Hadith and Mufassal before? Does it sound familiar to anybody? Does anybody know what it talks about? Okay, you have, Alia. And what do you know about Hadith and Mufassal? Would you like to share with everyone? Sajida, you've heard of it. For those that have heard of Hadith and Mufassal, would you like to share what you have heard about it? What you know about it? That's right, very good. It talks about Imam Ja'far Sadiq's companion as he narrated different things from Imam Ja'far Sadiq. Very good. It talks about animals, cows and tails, talks about the different creations. Excellent, that's correct. Close. It talks about different things that the Imam has said. Very good. It makes reference to animals. Very good. That's right. It talks about the different creations. Very good. Human body, animals. That's right. So it talks a lot about the different way Imam Ja'far Sadiq has described the different creations around us. Creations of Allah. Very good. So now I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit, for those who are not too familiar about Hadith and Mufassal, a little bit about the story behind it. One day, Mufassal ibn Umar narrated to Muhammad ibn Sanad that one day after Asr prayers, I sat between the pulpit of the Holy Prophet and was thinking about the wonders and beauties of Allah and how Allah has so much wonder, created so many different things with wonder around us. As he was contemplating, A man by the name of Ibn Abi al-Uja, who was an atheist pagan, comes and he starts making claims and in expressing his disbelief in Allah. So this atheist pagan started making claims that were false. He started making points that said Allah has not given us as much bounties as we see around us. So when Mufaddal heard what was being said by this atheist, Mufaddal became very sad and decided to go to Imam Jafar as-Sadiq. So when Mufaddal went to Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq went to Mufaddal and asked him why he looked so sad. Mufaddal then explained to him the claims that were made by the atheist and how he had tried to refute the different arguments that were made. The Imam then told Mufaddal how he would share with him the wonders and the creations of Allah in the universe. So these wonders that Imam has explained to Mufaddal have been captured in Hadith and Mufaddal. So these beauties of this are some of the things that we're going to be looking at within Hadith and Mufaddal. Okay, so the first one we're going to be looking at, so there's messages, looking at the box, the messages that pop up. So there shouldn't be other messages that are popping up on the screen right now. You should still be able to view the slides as is and the PowerPoint that we're doing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at from Hadith and Mufaddal is we're going to be looking at the way Imam Jafar as-Sadiq has described the sky. So when Imam Jafar as-Sadiq describes the sky in Hadith and Mufaddal, he states, look at the color of the sky and see how appropriate it is how appropriate is the design. This particular color is the most appropriate tonic compared with all the other colors. Even the physicians direct a man to gaze on the green hue or on some other darker hues in case of some element of the eye. Efficient physicians direct a person with a weakened eyesight to gaze on it in a basin of green color filled with water. You can see how beautiful Jafar as-Sadiq has captured this and how much wonder there is in even just gazing at the beauties within the colors that we have. MashaAllah, the color of the sky is the light blue in the day, the dark at the night. It's beautiful. Very good. Excellent observation. That's right. It's wonderful, even the way Imam Jafar as-Sadiq is describing it in this khutbah that we can see. So the next thing that we're going to be looking at is another creation of Allah that sometimes we don't pay much attention to, because sometimes if we look around, it's actually quite small. We look at the different seeds that are around us. Sometimes they're so small, we don't realize how much wonder there is in the different seeds that can help to grow different things. So when Imam Jafar as-Sadiq described seeds from Hadith and Mufaddal, he states, consider the seed stone embedded inside the fruit, that it may serve to propagate a substitute in case a tree perishes due to some calamity. Just a nice commodity of constant utility is preserved at all places to be available at some other place if the same suffers an accident at one place. It's describing those fruits that have the seeds within them and how they have been given that wonderful shell in order to be able to survive their environment. That's right. Sometimes we throw away the seeds, but really there's a beautiful wonder. Each fruit, there's different types of seeds with different colors and different designs. Excellent observation. It's also made it so we can plant vegetables and flowers. That's right. And also fruits as well. Very good. And also apple seeds. Very good. Excellent. Those are very good points that are coming up. Sometimes we don't realize the wonders that are within seeds because they're so small, but there's so much beauty in them. And we're actually going to be taking a look and looking at some pictures that actually capture the different types of seeds as well. So before we do that, seeds have also been described in the Holy Quran, where it states, "Have you ever considered the seed which you cast upon the soil?" So if we look at this, we can see that it's telling us to reflect on that seed that we take and that we put within the soil. Those are very good percentages, Mujahid. 7%, 9%, 6%, very good. So we shouldn't throw the seeds away. That's right, Habiba. Maybe we should take some time to reflect on that seed and where it came from, and also observe its color, its texture. So now we're actually going to be looking at some illustrations that are going to help to show us some of the other beauties within seeds themselves that we're going to be looking at. I'm going to be sharing with you. And if you'd like to learn more about seeds and read more about them, like the ones we're going to be talking about, they can be found in a book called A Seed is Sleepy by Diana Hutz, Aston, and Sylvia Long. So this is a book which maybe you can find at a library or you could buy that has a lot of different description about a seed that we're going to be looking at. So here are some examples of the different kinds of seeds that you can see around within your surroundings that grow. So initially, a seed is sleepy. It lies there, sometimes tucked inside a flower or on a cone or beneath a soil surface. Sometimes a seed may be hidden, such as the seeds that we see here. Once it is closed, we're sometimes not able to see the small seeds that we have around us. So sometimes a seed is secretive. It does not reveal itself too quickly. Some seeds sleep through a season or two, waiting for warmer weather of spring. But some take their time. Some may take 10 years. Some may take shorter times. You can look at, there are also different kinds of seeds. A seed can be fruitful as well. 90% of the plants on earth are flowering plants. Flowering plants are examples of plants that are able to produce fruits. These fruits are also able to come in different shapes and textures that keep the seeds cozy until they have found the best place to grow. Sure, so at the end, once I finish sharing with you the parts from the book, then I will share the name of that book. Sure. That's right. I see some good observations coming up. Examples are also like papaya seeds. Very good. That's right. Sometimes we do not even know of these. Very good. Pomegranate seeds. Excellent. They're all examples of the different ones that produce fruits. Very good. That's right. All seeds is all different. Very good. We can also see that sometimes seeds come in many different sizes. For example, if we look at the tiny seed of an orchid, how small that little seed is. It is actually the smallest of all. You could fit 1,000,000 orchid seeds in one small pod. So if you look at each of the pods where the orchids are kept, you take a look and you can see that there could be 1,000,000 seeds inside that one pod. However, seeds can also be really big. An example of a seed that is really, really big is the example of a seed of the coco de mer palm, which is the largest. That seed is able to weigh up to 60 pounds or 25 kilograms. You can see how seeds are also coming in many different sizes, from the tiniest ones to the really big ones. We can also see that seeds are also very special because seeds also serve a very important function for the different plants or different things that grow from it. It gives baby plants or embryos a seed coat which helps to keep it warm. So the embryo's first meal comes from its seeds, leaves. Seeds with one seed leaf, like corn, are called monocots, and seeds with two leaves growing from them are called dicots. So you can see the different function that the seed produces and how much of activity is actually going on inside that single seed. For how much the orchid seed weighs, if that's the very tiny one that we looked at. That's right, this diagram does a beautiful job at explaining that seed and how much is actually going on within that seed. We can also see that some seeds are very unique. Some seeds can actually be ancient. This is because some of these have been around for thousands of years. The oldest seed that has ever sprouted comes from an ancient date palm tree. After it was shown a long time ago, it came from the king's mountaintop palace from Israel. A scientist planted it, and 4 weeks later, it started to grow. We can see there's also ancient kinds of seeds that we can see. That's right, and these ancient ones have a really beautiful and unique design to them, which is really wonderful that we can see. You can also see the different kinds of shapes that are in the different kinds of seeds around them. So we can look at some of the different ones, look at the different textures and where these different seeds are growing. Because some of these seeds don't just stay in one spot, they can travel from the currents in the water and move to different places. It's so beautiful. And then if we look at it, how much that seed is able to produce, we can look at all the wonderful different plants and the different fruits and everything that have come from that one seed. So this does a beautiful job at capturing the different things that can grow from that single seed, which is so wonderful. That's right, these are some excerpts from the book that we looked at. And for those of you that are interested in learning more and actually looking into the book that has more images that you can take a look at, it comes from a book that's called A Seed is Sleepy by Diana Hutz-Ashton and Sylvia Long. So if you really like the book and you want to buy it, you can maybe find it on Amazon and in different places. This book does a beautiful job at showing us the wonders within the seed and how much beauty there is in different kinds of seeds we may not have considered before. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with our original presentation, and then the nice thing is we're actually going to be able to reflect on another beautiful creation of Allah in the same way and learn more about it. Does anybody want to guess which creation of Allah we're going to be taking a look at next, the same way we did about seeds? Any guesses? I'll give you a hint. It starts with the letter E. You want to guess the creation? Starts with the, oh, very good, Sajida, you got it. It is actually eggs, that's correct.
Unmuted.
So can everyone see the slide on the side of the presentation? Is everyone able to see it? Good. Okay, so now the creation, as you all guessed correctly, is the wonderful creation of an egg. So now we're going to be exploring the wonders of an egg. So within this beautiful creation of the egg, there's also so much wonder that we can take a look at. But first, we're going to be taking a look at a story involving Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam and the egg. So in this story, there was a man by the name of Disani that went to see the Imam. And he said to the Imam for him to be guide me to my God, but do not ask my name. The Imam asked him to sit down and relax. Disani did so. Then they noticed a young boy that was playing nearby that had an egg in his hand. Addressing the young boy, the Imam said, "Let me have this egg for a while." The boy that had the egg with him handed the egg to the Imam. Addressing Disani, the Imam then said, when he held up the egg, "This is a protected castle. It has a hard covering, and beneath the hard covering there is a fine covering, and beneath that fine covering there is liquid gold and molten silver. Neither the molten silver intermingles with the liquid gold, nor do the liquid gold merge into the molten silver. They both remain as they are. Nothing comes out of it to divulge the secret of its precision, and nothing enters in it to control the internal balance. No one knows if its final product will be male or a female. All of a sudden it splits and results in a peacock, like multicolored offspring. Do you not see a supreme power behind all this?" Disani remained engrossed in deep thought and then exclaimed, "I bear witness that there is no God but God, and that He is one who has no partner, and that Prophet Muhammad and his apostle, and I bear witness that you are a divinely ordained man and the proof of his existence." And then he also said that based on the previous misconceptions that Disani had, now he really is able to understand the wonders within the different creations. So based on seeing how amazing the egg is, now what we're actually going to be doing is, we're going to be first looking at an ayat from the Quran that discusses the egg. And this one is from Surah 37, ayat 49, where it states, "As free of fault as if they were hidden ostrich eggs." So this is making reference to ostrich eggs, which is very special if we look at this ayat from the Holy Quran. And if we really reflect on it, it's really special because ostrich eggs are actually a huge kind of egg, or one of the biggest kind of eggs that we're going to be looking at, even within the story that we're going to be looking at. That's right, Mukha says if you were your clothes very good, so you can see how wonderful it is. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually taking a look at some more wonders within the creation of an egg, the same way we did for a seed. So let's take a look at what other discoveries we can see in this creation. And if you want to learn more, some of the beauties of this are coming from a book known as An Egg is Quiet by Diana Hutz Aston and Sylvia Long. So to answer the question, Selma, sure, the story that we just read involving the Imam and the egg parable, sure. What this story is, it's available online. So what I can do is I can share with you all the link to the story at the end of the presentation, or if you want to read more about the story and the conversation between Dasani and Imam Jafar Sadiq, you are able to do so. So at the end of the presentation, inshallah, I will share with you if you want to have the story in writing. So the story talks about how an egg is quiet. So let's take a look to see what we can discover about the creation of an egg. That's right, the other one is Seed is sleepy. So we can see that there are many different types of eggs. Look at the different colors and the beautiful creation of the eggs that we see around us. There's big ones, small ones with different textures. We can also see that they don't all come in the same shape. Sometimes when we see eggs, we think they're all the same kind of round eggs that maybe we have for breakfast. But we can see that they come in many different shapes. Some are pointy ones. Some are also can be very tiny ones as well. Like if we take a look at the one from seabirds, we can see how they are very pointy kind of eggs that we can have around us. We can also see that some eggs are also very secretive because they are able to camouflage within their surroundings. Like if we take a look at this image over here, we can see that although it may look like there are just rocks that are hidden around, there are actually eggs that are hidden around. As you can see from the arrow, there's actually a hidden egg. Oh, that's a good observation, Sumaya. The kangaroo eggs are the size of a jelly bean. That's right. We can see how eggs are able to camouflage, the ability to do that. We can also see that they come in many different sizes. For example, if we take a look at the egg of a salmon, we can see how tiny it is compared to the other eggs. Another thing which we can also observe is the different kind of textures that eggs come in. The design within their shape, the design around it makes them very special. We can also, another interesting thing to also see is the different kind of formations within these eggs. How beautiful they are and how some eggs might even be fossilized. So this is an example of a fossilized egg. Scientists have unearthed fossilized dinosaur eggs around the world. Some are round and some are very long. So this is an example of actually a fossilized one that actually scientists believe had come from dinosaurs. We can see is very interesting. So you can also see that sometimes if we were able to hold the different kinds of eggs, they also will feel very different. For example, if we were able to hold a bird's eggs, we'll see it's very hard compared to a reptile egg, which is very soft. And if we hold an egg from a leopard frog, they're actually very gooey eggs. You just think about the different textures that these different eggs come in. We can also see that just like the seeds that we look at, if we look inside an egg, we can see that there's a special function that the different eggs have been given. For example, an egg gives the little creature growing inside everything it needs to grow. The shell is its home. The yolk is its food. The egg white or albumin is its pillow. The shell is covered with teeny tiny holes which allow air to enter. You can take a look at this one, how much action that's actually going inside a single egg that we see around us. That's right, they are so beautiful and unique because of their shape, size, color, and texture. That's right, which is so wonderful. Sometimes we see just an egg, we see just the outside of it. We don't realize how much wonder and how much beauty there is inside that actual egg that we see around us. So then if we take a look, and we started off by looking at that egg, look at the beautiful kind of birds that have come from that egg that we see around us. So many wonderful examples that are within our surroundings. And let's say we see the different kind of birds within our environment. We need to reflect on that single egg that they came from and that whole journey within the egg that they had before they came to be the way they are around us. That's right. So that's something that's right. I see a lot of comments such as wow in the chat box. That's right. Something that we really want to make sure that we are able to observe on within these beautiful creations that we see around us. So now we're going to go back to our original PowerPoint. And we are going to talk more about the beautiful creations of Allah. So inside of an egg, we all see white and yellow. However, we don't actually see what is going on in there. Excellent observation. Say if that's correct. We don't see how much activity and how much there is for us to observe in it. That's right. Ostrich eggs are very big. So now, based on how we looked at the egg and the seed, does anybody want to share if they have ever looked at a creation of Allah in so much detail and were able to observe the different things around it? Has anyone ever done that before? If you have, would you like to share with us which creation of Allah you reflected on? It could be maybe when you went on a nature walk, or maybe if you saw beautiful creations in television and you wanted to reflect on it. And what observations you had about what you saw. Would you like to share that with us all?
Unmuted.
So I see some wonderful observations that are coming up that people have reflected on, which is really nice. Let's take a look at some of the answers that people have shared with us. We have the leaf. We have the pet's beautiful budgies, very nice. Bunny in a backyard during summer, that's right. There's a lot that could be seen for that. Went to the park and saw lots of plants and animals, very good. Animals at the mud walk, very good. The way they're colorful feathers, very good. The bridge, beautiful landscape. We went to Banff and saw 3 bears. Oh, it's very nice. Pink and brown, raccoons, cats, birds. Done some research on people and the spider, very good. Excellent. The way she's very calm and peaceful and just in my backyard. Furry and always eats grass. Excellent, very good. All the intrinsic lines in a leaf, very good. Our backyard, that's right. There's lots of things in a backyard that we can see, things that are different creations. The stars in the sky, excellent. In a nature walk and saw the different plants and leaves and trees and realized that Allah has created them. This very powerful, excellent. Went climbing on the tree and saw the sunset. That's right. The sunset is also very beautiful. Went to the park and saw lots of plants and animals. Excellent. Moles, creations of Allah, raccoons, cats, birds that come into the backyard. Excellent. So we can see that there is so much beauty in the different creations of Allah that we need to be aware of. We also need to be make sure that we appreciate being given the opportunity to see these wonderful creations that we have around us, and thank Allah for giving us that opportunity to be exposed to the beautiful blessings in the creations that we are able to see. Right, chipmunks, birds fighting for food. Very good, excellent. So those are some wonderful ones. So what I'm going to do now is the story that was shared earlier, that involving the Sani and the Imam. If you would like to go to the website and actually read the full story that we had involving the conversation and Jafar Sadiq and the egg, I'm going to send the link for that story, which you can actually read online. This is the story that we talked about for Dasani and Imam Jafar Sadiq. So if you want, I'm going to be putting it in the chat. So what you can do is you can copy and paste the link onto your computer, and then you'll be able to see the full story of it if you'd like to read it again in your own time. Now, the other thing which I'm also going to be sharing with you is I'm going to be sharing with you the link for Hadith and Mufazzal that we looked at. The reason is it also talks about so many other wonderful creations of Allah. So if you want to know more about the way Imam Jafar Sadiq has described other creations of Allah, I'm also going to be sharing that link with you because it talks about so many different creations. So if you'd like to learn more about the beautiful creations, it's found on alislam.org. I'm going to also be sharing that link with all of you as well, so that you can take a look at it as well. And also in the next session, we can do is if anybody wants to share some of the other jewels and wonders they notice in the creation based on Hadith and Mufassal, you're also welcome to share any observations that you have with the rest of the group as well. Now, another document that's also going to be posted on the Academy of Learning Islam under this course is also going to be a reflection activity that is optional. Within this reflection activity, what it helps you to do is organize the different creations that you notice during your week, and actually helps you to be able to organize how you can reflect on them. So that document is going to be available for you from the Academy of Learning Islam website in order to help you to be able to reflect on the different creations of Allah. And also, there's going to be another optional reflection activity involves the mountain climbing challenge that was shared last week. So the optional mountain climbing challenge for this week is to think about applying the hadith of Imam Ali that we talked about, that involves looking at all creations and remembering that we need to remember Allah in that creation by thinking about 4 times when we remember Allah in the creations that we see around us. Okay, and yes, the PowerPoint I'm going to be sharing with you all. The link is going to be able to be downloaded. Also, if you missed the link for the slides I'm about to post, it will be posted on the Academy of Learning Islam website under this course. So you also have the opportunity to be able to download it from there if you missed the link when it's posted in the chat box. So the link I'm going to be posting to you. My pleasure. Glad you all enjoyed it. The link is going to be coming. Right now you should be able to view the link that will show you the slides of the presentation, so that way you can reflect on it. Thank you. I see some wonderful comments, some presentation. Glad you liked it, Aliraza. There's also going to be our final session next week. So yes, next week there's going to be a session the same time, and that session next week is inshallah going to be our last session, which is at the same time next week. My pleasure, Azia. Glad to know this presentation. Thank you, Khairun Nisa. You're welcome, Saif. You liked it, Mujahid? Thank you. Please, everyone is able to get the links. And as mentioned earlier, if you miss a link for the presentation that was shared, you are welcome to download it from the Academy of Learning Islam website under this course. My pleasure, Ansia. Glad that you're going to be able to join us next week as well, inshallah. You're welcome, Jafar, Fatima, and you're welcome, Sumaya, as well. And thank you all for participating and taking active role in terms of contributing within the chat related to this course. That helps to make the course more fun and interesting for all of us. So thank you all as well for your wonderful participation in this course. Inshallah, happy to hear that you learned a lot from this class. Glad you liked it, Liraza. Thank you very much, Nisa. Thank you, Asina. And inshallah, see you all next week. Allah Hafiz.